I don't know if this feeling will last forever.
This is exactly where I was for 2 years and how I felt before my whole world changed. And I learned to trust the timing of the universe and that I do not know what's best for me sometimes. Sometimes I can be my own worst enemy. And when I desperately want a change, that change that's going to change my life, I'm not really ready for it. And if I were to get that change, I would just simply ruin it or not know how to appreciate it. And I know that's maybe not what you want to hear, but it is what you need to hear. And that's the thing. Sometimes what we want does not want us, and it's not what we necessarily need in our lives. I was putting so much pressure on myself for my timeline to come into fruition. Things had to happen at the time that I wanted, when I wanted it. Otherwise, it was not meant to be. And the moment that I let go of that fictional timeline I was creating for myself, there was a lot of freedom that came with that. There was a lot of less pressure that I also put on myself to make those things happen. The thing is that the change that you want is not going to happen overnight because for things to look different, you have to move differently. The best way to put this analogy is like working out. So let's say I want to get my arms more toned or I want to have a better pace when I'm running as I prepare for a marathon. You can't expect to run today or start working out today and start seeing those arms get toned and your pace get better. That's unrealistic. And that's the same thing about your manifestations. If you want to be somewhere, like let's say you want to move to New York, that's not going to happen in the next day. There's preparation that goes into those things and time and energy that you have to put to that. So you're going to start working out today or start running today, but your arms and your pace is not going to get better until maybe a month from now or 2 months from now. And to really see that definition or that pace that you want, it might take up to 6 months or a year. That same analogy I want you to apply to your manifestations. Stop putting so much pressure on yourself or telling yourself, well, this didn't happen overnight, so it's not meant to be. I'm just going to give up. If you give up, your arms are never going to get toned at the definition that you want, and your pace is never going to improve because you didn't keep going. So if you want to move to New York, make the steps to get there. So maybe it's applying to jobs in New York or building a network in New York, or maybe it's even looking at apartments that you would want to move into or the areas. Start making that move happen. Even though it's not physically happening in this current moment, it doesn't mean that it's not going to happen. But never give up because then it's really not going to happen. And the thing is that the universe is always going to test you, it's going to challenge you, and it's going to see if this is really what you want. And the universe never said it was going to be easy. Because if it was easy, we would all do it. We would all move to New York.